board. All right. Scott Sommer, it is with pure delight just to be able to celebrate this book launch. Hold your book up and let's celebrate.
Oh, yes. Hey.
Celebration for the 12 pillars of vibrant health. This is Scott Sommer of Scott Sommer's Holistic Health. Center. You have a center. Tell us where your center is and how you do business.
Yeah, so we're located in Rockland, California, and basically we offer, I always say that healing is about three parts. It's about food as medicine. So we offer, testing to find out the right foods for the right body because everybody's DNA is unique. And then we offer whole food supplements. So we design a wellness program with nutrition. And then finally, therapies. And so we offer those, and that means detox. Everyone needs detox. And so we have a 5,000 square foot facility with therapies from all over the world. And we have a staff of like 9 staff members, and we're here to help people.
That's beautiful. So, but you can work remotely too. Can you share what that is?
You can, yeah. So we have, with COVID and all, we had to find ways to help people more fully when they left the state or even the country. And so, yeah, we can help people anywhere in the world. We have scanners that scan the electrical flow of the body. And then being that I, studied Asian medicine and ancient medicine, we are able to find out exactly from a distance in somebody's living room what's going on. All they need is a computer and a scanner. And then I can interpret the results, and then we send them a program.
That is amazing.
It really is.
That is just so amazing to have that kind of technology that we can do that now.
Yes. I started out at one time, just doing like saliva swabs, just to find out somebody, because I just need to match their DNA basically. And that's what I'm doing with the kinesiology that I use in the room and with the patient in front of me. And then the electrical scans were just amazing. So we just keep adding more technology that goes back all the way back to the 1930s, some of this technology.
Amazing, truly amazing. So Scott, I've known you for a number of years. So we started this project many years ago, and then life happened, and so we came back to it. Talk to us about this book, and we are celebrating today the launch of this book, and you'll see in all the social media platforms there's links to picking up the book. Talk about why you wanted to bring this book to the world and what your dream and vision is for it.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank you, Becky, for sticking with me, and, I just always appreciate the reminders over the years, of, hey, how's the book coming? And then as I'm grabbing my notes, on my desk, I never gave up on the book, and you never gave up on me. So we made it. But I would say my passion came from, started in childhood. I think that, we Americans and the worldwide, as humans, we want answers, right? And so when a doctor doesn't give us answers, or a society doesn't teach us how to be healthy, and that's what happened to me in childhood. At age 9, I realized my doctor had told me I'd never have a normal life. And that's just part of the story in the book. And that's really the beginning. And so I really sought out prayer. So I prayed, and I changed my lifestyle, my diet. I started exercising. I started lifting weights because my dad was a bodybuilder and an organic farmer. And so I really had to change my mindset, which is really the most important start of any program of getting healthy. And so my passion is really getting people answers, giving them wisdom as to how to get healthy again, because most people are sick. The average American and average person in the world is, overweight, exhausted, and sick, and dies early. We're dying early. Biblically, Moses, lived to 120, and we should too. We should live much longer than we are. So our lives are being shortened. We lack the quality of life, and that's my passion, is get this information out there. And then it's simpler than it needs. It can really be simple. You just have to get back on track with this 12 pillars or 12 principles of, health, vibrant health.
Very interesting. And don't you say that the mindset is one of the key pieces to that?
It is, because if I had to believe my doctor, if I just, stayed in that box, of Western medicine of, hey, this is what you have, I mean, how many people feel that way, right? You're diagnosed with something, you stay in the box, you say, well, I guess that's it for me. I guess that's my life,
Right.
and it's just, I just have a different mindset. Once I change my mindset, now I teach others to do the same. And I tell them the first step is, I'm going to show you some things that are totally different that you've never seen before. Are you ready? And I say, just empty the cup, and start with an empty cup, an empty vessel, your brain and your mindset. And then we'll just fill it up with truth. And that's what the book does. It gives you a new mindset.
It's a remarkable book, and you start with the mindset. That's your first chapter, and attitude is altitude. It is all about truly making sure that our mindset is right. Without mindset being correct and upbeat and all of that, no matter what we do, it's not going to always work if we have the stinking thinking that comes our way. So your chapter 2 is about water. Water is an interesting topic, and it always concerns me because I was brought up with my family was very much into distilled water, and we had a great big system for distilled water. And I've learned since that that wasn't always right. But I also learned very early on that these real cheapy plastic things, bottles of water that you buy at the stores, is not so good for us. So let's talk about water, why our body needs water, and the type of water that we should be getting.
Right. So in the book, I talk about a lot of details. I feel like I've combined, this ancient wisdom concept, clinical practice of more than 25 years, and then a lot of research, and so it's all in the book. But about water, it's really, we think we drink out of these plastic water bottles. It's like it's worse than tap water. And, because you got the microplastic, particles floating around. And then my dad also had a distiller. Jack LaLanne one of my mentors I talk about in the book, used to push, distillation. And so I talk about, the best types of water and why it's important, because we're more than 75% water. And especially our brain is more water, in our lymphatic system, which is where most of the problems start, is in our lymphatic system. So, and then how much water do you drink? So I feel like I've answered the questions in this chapter, about how much to drink, what type of water is best for me. And then you don't have to spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on a water filtration system. You just have to make some 1 degree of change is what I call it. Just make some small changes. Stop drinking out of the water bottle, the water bottles, and then get a good filtration. Yeah, our tap water is terrible, right?
Mhm.
And and it's really critical because you can't wash a car with a cup of coffee, is what I say, one of the quotes in there.
Well, don't you think that, I've read studies that say that 75% of Americans are dehydrated. And
Absolutely. Yep.
that causes so many health issues that come along with, because our bodies are made up of large percentage of water.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, things can't come in, nutrition can't float around the body and be delivered. And I, talk about a UPS delivery system. And that's really what water is. It's UPS, it delivers, the nutrients through the water, and our cells need it. And then we also need to, get rid of the toxins, or, put out the garbage. And we're always deficient. I would say most people definitely need to drink more water. And if they just made that one change, it would just change their health completely.
Absolutely. So then we go into chapter 2, or chapter 3, excuse me, is on the immune system. The name of the chapter is Your Immune System is Your Fortress. When our immune systems are compromised, that's when everything starts to go wrong. So what is the thought behind the immune system and how to improve the immune system? Because once we build up the immune system, then we can start to think right. We can do all kinds of things.
That's right. Yeah. So really, you should start to think about, people are reaching for the wrong tools, right? They're like reaching for something else to fix their immune system. But the first thing is understanding what the immune system is. And if you have allergies, that's an immune system problem. If you have autoimmune, that's an overactive immune system, both with allergies and autoimmune. And then there are, subclinical problems that where your immune system is just slowly declining. You don't get colds or flus, but then all of a sudden your neighbor gets cancer. So like, why did Bob, your neighbor, get cancer? And that's what I answer in the book in this chapter is to recognize all the signs and symptoms, such as a really quick and easy one is toenail fungus. Like so many patients have come to me over the years, and they have all this toenail fungus. So, obviously it's not, they want to get rid of it because it looks bad, but actually it's just a major red flag for your immune system is declining and you're losing altitude and you're going to crash into a mountain soon of disease. And so it's really understanding what the immune system does. And then I give you all kinds of tips as to how to increase your immune system naturally and not relying on, say, antibiotics or drugs or any other sources to, boost it. Because it's really the majority of problems are immune system problems today.
They are, and the drugs that are often given make it tremendously worse,
Absolutely.
And I have a friend that she was suffering from gout, and they gave her steroids because of the big pain she had with gout, but then that caused a host of other things to go wrong. And it's just frightening to know what those the drugs can do, and as opposed to something that is natural.
Yes, I think it's about, trusting your body that, we've kind of lost that in our society and in the world to trust the body, that the body, when you give the body what it needs, then it does what it needs to do. And that's the key to this chapter.
And then you go on to food and digestion. And digestive issues are kind of also kind of at the root of so many things that go haywire. But give us an overall view of the food and digestion chapter.
Yeah, it's just, it's such a misunderstood concept. So that's why this book is so important because, understanding digestion, I ask them all the time as patients for, many years, like, do you have any digestive problems? And usually people say, no, I don't think so. And I ask them more questions. Do you burp or belch or do you feel tired after a meal? Does food give you energy or does it make you tired? And do you feel bloated, gassy? Do you have a bowel movement 2-3 times a day? And so those are all related to digestion. Do you chew your food, 20 times a bite, chew. And so all these are factors in ancient medicine that I studied, Asian medicine, one of my degrees is that, they say that the root cause of all disease starts in the gut and digestion. And these are like emperors and, physicians going back to the dynasties in China, ancient medicine in Asia, that they knew that centuries ago, that if you don't digest your food, you don't have health.
Absolutely. And so what is your key to how does somebody improve their digestion?
Well, a key factor is, not drinking fluids with a meal. That's just a simple thing to do, and making sure you chew your food enough. And then the other factor, the third simple thing is about food combining. So we talk about that a lot, like not all food gets along, if you put a Ferrari behind a semi truck, you're going to slow things down.
We don't like that.
Right. Not good. So we're going to teach you how in that chapter, how to avoid that, it's like, and then, GMOs are the biggest assault, if you will. It's acting like another drug on the body, interfering with digestion, and it creates leaky gut is a big thing. And, parasites are a big issue for digestive problems. And then I talk about the tongue in Asian medicine. The tongue is like the greatest barometer to determine. Every morning I teach about how to look at your tongue and what it means about your digestion. It's the rear view mirror of where you've been and what you've been doing.
Yeah, it's a tattletale.
Right.
So this all kind of ties together with what many of us have an issue with is weight. How do we lose weight? And I know that I've struggled with a lot of extra weight, part of it is because I'm publishing books and I'm sitting down a lot.
Right, which we appreciate.
But the other part is, once, when you put on those pounds to try and lose that weight in a healthy way so it doesn't come back. And it's so many people I've watched. I have never done diets per se because I've watched too many of the people I've known that have got on these diets, lost a lot of weight, and within months are back up to even more in the weight. And so
Right.
what is the proper way to kind of address losing weight and the healthy way to do it?
Yeah, so I would say that what I found is that the reason why those other pillars come first, about mindset, because stress can affect, weight gain. And then I call it the weight loss wheel. And so I found that, everybody, when they say, hey, my metabolism has gone to sleep, it's not awake anymore. And then I find out when that started. So that's important to understand. Like, when did it start? Like after puberty? Because that's a big issue, and that means that it's a major hormone problem if somebody started after a woman started her cycle, and then there are other issues like, after a divorce or after a surgery, so you want to find out when did the weight gain start, number one, and
That's when
then
mine started. Yeah, after
right.
surgery.
Right, exactly. And then you kind of work backwards. Then you find out, well, what did that do? Like the surgery or the antibiotics, or the stress, or the divorce or whatever it might be. And then, so you got to look at this weight loss wheel. And then when you read that chapter, you'll find out which spoke is broken for you. Because everybody has a broken thyroid. That's just a given. But the question is, how is the thyroid connected to another organ? And so that's what I learned with Asian medicine and ancient medicine is that there's always a connection. And if, Western medicine is really about just linear approach. It's like a car on a linear plane. It's just you have a symptom and you take a drug or do a
Mhm.
surgery. And that's good for an emergency when you need it, right? And we're grateful for surgeons and doctors. But the truth is, if you want to thrive and have a vibrant health, and lose weight, you really have to figure out how is that thyroid connected? Is it hormone connection? Is there a blood sugar problem? Is it toxic liver or gallbladder? Or do you have an adrenal exhaustion? Did it happen after you started working, 15 hours a day? So,
Right.
so once we figure that out, then I find solutions for you, and we talk about how to fix the wheel, the weight loss wheel.
Awesome. Well, there's so many other topics, about detoxifying your life, toxins and stress, which you just addressed a little bit right there. Then you're talking about the body is electric. How is the body electric?
Yeah, so basically every single cell has a charge, and that's what keeps us alive, really the breath of life,
Mhm.
positive and negative. And chemistry was my first major. I just love chemistry and biochemistry in the human body. And that's what led me also down this path. So really, I talk about how each one of our cells are like little batteries and which are all interconnected. They all communicate with each other. And that's why cancer and all these diseases are so dangerous because they don't communicate with the normal cells. The healthy cells communicate with each other, but abnormal cells don't. They have their own agenda. They're just like terrorists, in the
Ah,
body. And so electrically, we have to stay hydrated. I talk about this battery and electrolytes, juicing really helps with this problem as well. And then the skin is like our biggest electric panel. It's like the electric panel outside your house is our skin. And so if you have scars, tattoos, piercings, injuries, and sometimes internal problems as well as far as organ prolapses, all of these things will block the electrical flow of the body. And so I talk about how to correct this. And so we just don't realize that our body's electric and it can make us tired and have symptoms of brain fog and just
mhm.
extreme fatigue. And which is why all
Absolutely.
these EMFs and all these electric cars and all these things are starting to affect us more than ever.
Absolutely. Wow. There's just so much to talk about with this book, and because you talk about sleep and bones and muscle and movement and the importance of movement. What is for somebody that's thinking about picking up this book, what do you hope they gain from the wealth of material that you've put together here.
Well, the more that I've thought about it after I completed this book, I really feel like I really challenge people to do a 1 year journey with this book and treat every chapter like a month of time. And if they took one principle of drinking water, thoroughly understanding what water is and really taking it in, they say on average it takes, 30 days to really master something. I mean, there's different philosophies on that concept, but I really feel like it's repetition, and you can't change it all at once. So my hope is that you would just start the journey, get a journal and start reading, and then just start from the beginning. Just look at your attitude for the first month, and then start drinking more water the second month. And then if you follow our upcoming podcast, which we're creating to follow this, and as well as online programs, which we're creating as well. And one of the first programs I'm going to be creating is tongue diagnosis, because it's something that moms at home can do. And if you just start on read about the tongue and digestion. But basically, I feel like if you just make one change at a time and then master it, I feel like that's the difference between Asian culture and how I learned Asian medicine. I found masters, and then I followed them. And then now I've created my own research and inspiration. And I would say that followed that inspiration. And I would say that, if you just master something, a lot of times, what I want to avoid is getting this book and then, oh, that's a nice book, nice ideas, and then setting it down. It's really something that should be on your shelf, that you should reach for when you're sick, when you're well, how to stay well, and just reminders about what to do to get back to health, get the plane back in the air. Most people are just like, they're not even in the air. They just crashed into a mountain somewhere. And we're really, unlike a car, we're really more like a plane. I mean, it's endless what we can accomplish, with our health and with the right attitude.
That's beautiful. And I see so many things that you can do with all of this, and I know you're already on that track. Even a workbook with this book would be pretty phenomenal. Because they
Absolutely,
could kind of
yes.
track as they go along. And then the courses could kind of be hand in hand with all of that, because you've got such good material. You have a YouTube channel that is filled with goodness. And the same is now that you're getting a podcast as well. All of those things are a lot of work to kind of keep up with, and to make sure that you're staying consistent and on track with it. But this book is so filled with goodness, and yeah, it's exciting. And you get to hold it up. Ooh, this has been a lot of years in the making. So
Many
what did
years.
you?
Yeah, this has been a lifelong dream. Yeah, for sure. Half of my life,
Uh,
in getting this
well,
together.
Well, congratulations for that, and that you did that. And there's a link. Let me get the link. I'm not sure if it's going to work to put it in the chat. I will go out and post it among all the places that this is hosting. There's a lot of posts going out all day today. There's a launch team that is really supporting you. Congratulations for a job
Thank you,
well
Becky.
done.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, so much. I want to say one more thing, here's just a thought, just something to think about. They've proven now with research that just exercise alone can add potentially up to 4 years to your longevity and your life. So think about that for a minute. The average person doesn't exercise. When I do a survey, when I teach courses and seminars, I have people raise their hand. Maybe 30% of the people, if I'm lucky, do some form of exercise on a daily basis. So when you think about it, if you just made that one change, you could potentially add 4 years of your health span, which is living healthy longer and living longer, versus just living longer just to be on oxygen. And
Right.
so that's something to think about. That's just one tip, that could add 4 years to your life. So that's why it's critical, important, and life-changing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I hope that you as a listener will pick up a copy of this book. It can be found on Amazon. If nothing else, you can type in Scott Sommer and you will find the book, 12 Pillars of Vibrant Health. You'll find it. There's a lot of promotion going on for this book, but read it and do as Scott suggests. Take a chapter at a time, and probably pick it up and read it all the way through, but then go back and read one chapter at a time and apply. And congratulations to you, Scott. I know this has just been an amazing feat for you to accomplish, because you're a busy guy.
Yes, for sure. Thank
And
you
if you
so
want to
much.
check out Scott on his website at summersholistic.health.com, pay close attention. And we celebrate with you that this day has finally arrived. Thank you.
Mahalo.
So good. So let me turn off the recording and turn off the live stream. I'm not sure how to turn off the live stream.
Oh, really?
Okay, I'm gonna just get off of Zoom and that'll turn it off. Okay.
Great.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.